Welcome, everyone, to the Thursday, February 12th, 2026 meeting of the Village of Lansing Staff and Board of Trustees. I will call the meeting to order by calling roll. Susan Ainsley.
Present.
Pat Gillespie is absent due to illness. Kathleen Yen is absent due to illness. Carolyn Greenwald.
Here.
Ronnie Hardaway is here. Thank you. John, we're going to start with you today.
Okay, really gearing up to do budget and starting to get some pricing around, working on kind of, this year I think we'll have enough time to kind of incorporate the capital plan at the same time. I have a lot of the information I need. Jody and I have talked a few times about budgeting for a capital plan in the water line, in the water department. And then obviously we have the sewer bid going out this spring. There's virtually no salt to be had around. I mean, rumor has it they're pulling like 8,000 tons a day, but it's just bypassing all the local municipalities and heading down to like New York City and PA and stuff, you know, where it's just, they're not fulfilling a lot of the requirements for the contract for some municipalities that ordered too late or has a
Standing order.
a shipper
Or what?
a shipper or a hauler that's not getting to them. They're prioritizing maybe the money runs first, you know what I mean? And these are close, but I don't know really what's going on, but the dispatcher we have is Lot Motor Lines. They have done, I have a system worked out with them that's amazing. And we're the only one that has Lot Motor Lines in Tompkins County because I request them every year. I'm hoping that the other municipalities don't catch on, because if they do, then they become backlogged, and that's the problem. So G&L sold their salt pad up at North Lansing. They sold it to Trustee. Trustee is a company out of Pennsylvania. And the computer automatically defaulted us back to Trustee as a carrier. That's the word I'm looking for, a carrier. And I ordered salt, never got a call. And all of a sudden, 2 loads shipped in here in a dump truck. We can't use a dump truck. Our special needs is a conveyor truck to be able to back in the salt shed and shoot it off.
Okay.
So what happened was I basically sent them back because we had special restrictions on our contract.
Yeah.
Got mixed back in with Lot. Lot sends us a conveyor truck. Everything works perfect. When I order salt, the next day we get salt. The other Village of Cuba Heights ordered salt over 2 weeks prior to when I did. I received it. I ordered it Thursday. I didn't want it Friday because it was really cold. We got it Monday. They ordered 2 weeks prior to that Thursday that I ordered, and they still hadn't received their salt as of, I think they got loaded in this morning.
Who is their carrier?
Trustee. Trustee does no communication.
Okay.
And it's really not good because it put this whole municipality, the whole county, in almost like gridlock with salt.
Yeah, it endangers all of us.
Yeah. So basically what I have done since it's been really cold is I've cut our salt consumption way down, because at between 20 and 30 degrees is when it's most slippery, right? It has some fluid to it and it becomes really greasy. Mm-hmm. Below that, you'll notice that your tires start squeaking and squawking. And once it gets below, like into the 0 range, you have great traction, great traction. So you don't need to use as much salt.
Okay.
But once you start using salt, then if you use too much, then you have to keep using it in order to keep it from being really super slushy and slippery. So we cut back right at the beginning of that storm. And we cut back and we went, normally we put about, in our language, they're not totally calibrated, about 300 pounds per lane mile. We cut it back to 100, and which is, we're getting like 3 runs in the village. And you can't do that all the time because it's like a good football team, a good coach and good players. You know what I mean? You got to have certain conditions in order to defeat it, offensively and defensively.
Right. And those change.
And those are constantly changing. Every team you come up against, it might have a good offense or good defense. So you got to be able to combat that. Everything changes chronically. Just in the wee hours of the morning when it's really cold, you might have great traction, great ability to scrape the roads. And then when it starts to warm up, sun starts to come out, the road conditions instantly change. It requires a whole different technique. So a lot of it's strategy, a lot of it's just watching the conditions.
Right.
So
Adapting to the.
yeah, adapt and overcome, exactly. So, I mean, we're constantly changing what we do every day, you know.
And this year's been dynamic.
It has.
At least.
If you were to look at it, it looked like a EKG kind of, I mean, it's been bad. I took a screenshot of my map because I said nobody's going to believe me, but this last Saturday, it sat up on the south end of Cuba Lake, right down through here. If you go 3 miles that way, it was clear. If you go 3 miles that way, I took a screenshot of the radar. It sat here for over 12 hours. We give up. I said, this is enough. We were in at 4, we left at 4:30. I said, we've had enough. The roads they're no better anywhere else, you know? So people get used to that, you know? So we left for the day. We come back in Sunday morning. And of course it snowed a little bit more off the end of the lake. And then we were out of here by 9:30. Monday, again, clean up. It was cold. We were in here at 4. We had to run to Harrisville, New York, which is up east of Watertown for our truck. So I left one guy back here, took one guy with me. We went up there. We had to do basically a set down with the engineers and stuff. And the truck is designed to put little extra things that we want out of the truck. So we sat through that. We were home at like 6 o'clock Monday afternoon. And then it's been a busy week. I will say that. So that's all I really have is, does anybody have any questions about the snow plowing or anything like that? Okay. I did have to borrow a part from the town of Lansing, and I will replace that for one of our trucks. So I'll talk to him about what you sent me an email for about backup. If there's something that happens to me or one of my guys, I'll talk to Village of Cuba Heights and the town of Lansing that, you know, if we need help, they'll lend a hand. And it's never an issue. We've always have. Like I texted him for that part, sent a guy up there, like, no problem. In return, I called the company up and direct shipped it to them. So we work good with Cuba Heights too. Cuba Heights does kind of Tyler Road for us. There's a little strip of Tyler Road. They've always done it for the village, and we kind of do a little strip in for Highgate and Highland. So it's just kind of like a buddy system. You know, we don't have nothing in writing, and I don't want it in writing because it's just, we do it. You know, a lot of times they end up doing Highland and Highgate anyway, but sometimes we're first there, we'll do it on the way in. Just drop plow, put a little salt down on the way out. So
Well, in your case, and we're talking about from your shoulder in,
yeah,
if there's something that you can't do and we need another body, can we get another body from one of those?
oh, sure, absolutely. Yeah, it's not an issue. In Cuba Heights, yeah, you know, they've been battling a lot of the H2O things.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I said this last meeting, and it wasn't 2 days later, we ended up with one. So, and everybody was like, you should be quiet, you know? So, we had one up here by Security Mutual, good 10-inch main break, so.
Right, well, it's been a rough year on the infrastructure.
Yeah, I mean, we've done, you know, it's been a busy winter. At very highs and lows temperatures. I'm really concerned about the next couple of weeks. This is when the ground really starts to move. Everybody noticed a bump out at north end of Trip Hammer up by Alex Cole, up by the Four Corners up there. Frost is in the ground. Frost is over 2.5 feet deep in the roadways. We dug yesterday on a curb stop down at 810 Cuba Heights Road. They couldn't shut their water off. Their water was frozen inside the house or outside the ground. We dug that up. There was no frost underneath the snow. There was 12 plus inches of snow, and it's a big insulator. There's typically no frost underneath the snow unless it's really stupid cold prior to the snowfall. What happens with the road is you're plowing the road or sidewalks, and that allows the cool to penetrate. That's what creates frost in roads, and typically that's why they heave. So that's what
We should just stop plowing.
I would love that.
Yeah, I knew this mentally, that snow was an insulator, but I never put that with, when we clear off the roads and the sidewalks, we're introducing a below-ground danger or risk for the roads and the sidewalks too.
And that's what's going to happen with you'll see sidewalks start to heave now, manholes, they'll all start to heave, valve boxes will start to pick up now, and that's become trip hazards, plow catchers,
Hazards.
and all that stuff. But I mean, we're out there, we go over every road, every sidewalk, every day. And we have been doing this for probably 3 weeks nonstop. I think we had one Saturday off for a few hours, but or for that's the only Saturday we had off, and then we worked a few hours on Sunday. So it's been busy. It's been good. The guys like it. The morale's still high. Everybody's happy. Of course, they like the overtime. So it's just the opposite in many municipalities. I talked to a few people, and it's New York. Everybody's sick of it by now, you know. But I get it. That's it, really. Working on budget. Going to start reaching out to the.
Who's the other person with me for DPW?
Me?
Okay. And then who's the other person with me for Parks and Rec? Kathleen. Okay, Susan. Great. I didn't write down who my partner was.
Did you have any projects for the Greenway Committee and Parks and Rec and all that stuff?
We will, but I need a second.
Okay, no, take your time. Please consider the path around the soccer field at Dankirk Park. We've talked about it for a couple of years in the budgets. I really like to see the amount of people that walk around at Hartel Park. Mm-hmm. It's amazing. I think we would see more at.
What about the clay pack easement? What about that?
I still haven't had a chance to
Can we
get
put
with them
that
on
trail
that.
in the budget, do you think, for this year?
I think we could do a permissive referendum, a 30-day permissive referendum. We have enough money in like the Parks and Rec and trail system.
You want to take money out of reserve?
Instead of budgeting for it. That way, if we don't get the easements, we're not budgeting for something that's not going to happen. I don't know, I'm just asking. You want to budget for it then?
Budget.
You'd rather put it in the budget? Okay, all right.
Can we do that?
Yeah, we can put money in the budget, absolutely. I would like to do that trail up there.
That's-
Gandhi's awful concerned about the stormwater pond up there. That stormwater pond's actually on the Edelman, I think it was the Edelman property that got dedicated to the village.
Is a stormwater pond on?
Yeah, right in the back of Clepak's house.
Oh, on that, oh, there, I thought you meant, when you said Edelman, I thought you meant the swimming pool.
Yeah, no, the Edelman property was too.
Okay, that little pond.
That little pond with the
that
bridge
they,
over it?
Like taking onto their property.
That's
like a
actually a
bridge
stormwater
over?
pond. It's actually
stormwater
listed as a stormwater pond on the plat, on the original plat for the property.
Does it need maintenance?
It does, and that's what Donnie's concerned about, because part of that land is on the Clepaks. I said, we cut one tree down at a time, Donnie, and he's like, we should all incorporate it in the same easement and everything. I think it will really complicate
I think
things.
it's a
It's a good thing to get it as an easement.
discussion. I think it's a.
Valid, absolutely valid.
Those issues should be discussed with them, I think, at the same time.
I would rather get the easement signed because they're not, we could get a letter of permission or an access agreement with them without having to go through a bona fide easement to
Okay,
dredge the pond. It'll be much easier to do that. I explained that to Donnie and he agreed with it.
okay. I want to put that in the budget for sure.
Okay, all right.
I love that idea of
New
that.
trail there and the new trail at Dankirk.
Well, think about one or the other. I don't know if you want to do them both. It doesn't cost the village that much to really do a trail. Not like it when you're getting grants and, what are you thinking?
Well, it's tricky because one of my main ideas is that we plan out each of the parks, and those plans aren't really going to be ready in time for this budget season. But I know that the Clepac
The
Trail.
ones that you're doing with Catherine Cheeseborough?
Yes
What
and
plans?
no. I mean, the Greenway Committee is writing a new Greenway plan, an updated Greenway plan, and it will have an updated plan for every park. Some of the things I already know we want, some of the things I hope to do.
I really don't think we need a Greenway committee to decide, don't take this the wrong way, a trail or not. You know what I mean? I think a lot of it is funding and board approval. You know what I mean? Those two things are most critical. Recommendation from the Greenway Committee is also beneficial. So in conjunction with the three things, you know, Greenway Committee's recommendation, board approval, then we throw up the budget. You know what I mean? If you kind of get the same, that's the same process, but that trail, whether you have a set of plans for the Dankert Park, it needs to be done. It would be very beneficial to walkers. We see so many people walking up there.
I'm all for walking trails and for getting people outside and connecting.
But
No trail.
Marchuska owns 1020 Craft Road, the not the dermatology, it might be the dermatology building. It's the second one up from the endoscopy place there.
Okay,
They're the ones that own the property up there at the receiving end of that power line trail that Catherine mentioned.
Oh,
Why
right.
not have a trail?
Oh,
I was trying to remember that name. It was
Okay.
Marchuska Development.
okay,
If you remember, the lady on the one side, Josie McAllister.
Yeah, I remember
was
that.
putting a contingent
Fancy,
offer.
yeah.
But it would require a lot of stormwater, so she backed out of it, moved over here to this place. So, that's all I really have. I know Jody said, unless you have any more questions. Okay. Jody kind of sent you an email the other day about the Belisario contract. And we also, we do, the states change, the OGS has changed a lot of the ways they do purchasing. So the state doesn't always put out bids, procurement, like RFPs, and then do like extend the bids anymore. They used to do a lot of it. All the vehicles and all the stuff that they ever bought, pens, pencils, come off the state bid, the OGS. Now they're recognizing like Sourcewell, a lot of nationwide purchasing procurement programs. They're not for profit, and Sourcewell, HGAC are both agencies that we have purchased off from before. HGAC, we've done a resolution saying we purchased off them, and I think since we bought two past purchases, do you want me to read this, or do you want me to just pass it around? Basically, Sourcewell connects us with competitively awarded contracts which meets RFP requirements for fleet equipment. As a government organization, Sourcewell solicits and awards contracts at not-for-profit. They do nationwide contracts, and the whole idea is co-op, have purchasing power, right? So the state recognizes that. We have already done an online registration and purchased the generator 2 years ago. And the John Deere blade we just purchased off the Sourcewell. We've also purchased some other things off them in previous years. However, the board should authorize the village to purchase under Sourcewell, just like they approved us to purchase under the HGAC by interlocal contract for cooperative purchasing. It's just basically do a resolution, and it's more of a formality.
Yeah. So a resolution to authorize the Village of Lansing to purchase off the Sourcewell contracts would be the resolution. So this is basically what it is it's already doing the checking here to see your price, checking here to see your price. They've already done all that. So we're not wasting time looking up prices.
Okay, so they do a
So-
lot of the administrative type
Yep.
background checks for you. How does that impact Belisario?
Nothing. They're two different resolutions.
Okay.
I was just trying to get the resolution. Nothing to do with Belisario.
Okay, I was trying to Belisario in there.
I'm sorry, here it is here. I don't know if it makes, if you wanted to look at it. Jody?
Send
Okay.
it to us later. I am interested.
Yeah.
So every year we renew the equipment contract with Belisario. Unfortunately, it wasn't done this year. We didn't do an official resolution. The original contract was approved June 5th, 2023, which allows us up to 3-year renewal with a 3% upward adjustment each year. The last year to renew will be 26-27. So we need to pass a resolution to extend the current agreement between the Village of Lansing and Prolon Inc., DBA, Belisario Excavating and Drain for rental of equipment, operators, and labors from June 1st, 2025 to July 31st, 2026, and authorize a 3% increase of the unit price. It's the same resolution we did last year.
May 31st, 2026. You said July
She said June.
31st.
June 1st, 2025 to May 31st, 2026.
Okay, yep.
So we have two resolutions.
Two different resolutions. I'm sorry, I kind of blended them together.
Yes.
First one is Belisario.
Okay, concern, is there a problem with us doing that before we have our budget considerations?
This should have been done back before June 1st.
Yeah.
We have already did
It's-
Belisario once. We are catching up.
I see, okay,
Okay, catch up.
okay. So it's June 1st, 2025.
Right.
Yeah, it ends this fiscal year, so we're a little behind the eight ball.
That's, okay, all right. So I will move the resolution that we extend the contract with Belisario from June 1st, 2025 through May 31st, 2026.
Second.
Is there any other discussion or questions or concerns? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, okay.
And the next one would be to authorize the Village of Lansing to purchase off the Sourcewell contracts, which you already explained that it
Yes.
is just,
It's just ongoing format.
That's what I was trying, mentally, I was trying to fit Belisario.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry.
So there's no start date, end date on this. It's just, we can use their service as long as it's available.
It's just a formality.
we did the same thing for HGAC.
Okay, Carolyn moved it. I will second. Is there any other discussion?
No.
All those in favor, say aye. Aye.
And that's all I have. And again, thank you for good running equipment. We were blessed the last cold few days, so.
I'm glad it worked.
I always worry.
Yeah, it's warm and the windshields stay clear and free from baseball bat icicles up there, so we're good.
Good.
And I'm working with Carolyn a lot with trying to get some grant stuff out and the tree replacements from David Fernandez. I'll send you a list that he should have this afternoon of
Great, thank you.
recommended trees.
Great. Okay. So Mike Scott is, you received the email, he is out, and he asked me to give you a list of his things he's been working on. He says, I'm continuing to work on the MS4 and 1203 annual reports. MS4 is stormwater system, 1203 is to report on the fire inspections he has completed and probably planned. And he has been working fire inspections to meet some of the 1203 records that he will be submitting. He's working closely with Chris Vielo for the Chipotle development and the planning board for approval on the site. So on this topic, we need to discuss today the sidewalk location. Chris Vielo needs to provide a site plan that our planning board approves, and that's kind of the first stage plan. It's not the specific engineering plans, but it's as detailed as we can get, and submit that to Chipotle, who does the final plans, engineering plans for the development. If he doesn't get this to them by I think it's probably April 1st, he misses an annual cycle. Chipotle will cut off their engineering and they'll have to start again next year. So he wants this, the only thing that he's missing at this point from us is a discussion and a decision about the sidewalk location that we want.
I thought the planning board made that decision. I spoke to Mike Baker yesterday. So I called Mike to talk to him about the density question on Bomax. And he just brought up that, because Mike had asked me to ask the Greenway Committee where they would recommend the sidewalk. And the Greenway Committee recommended Trip Hammer. And I told that to Mike, and Mike said, we had the planning board meeting. We decided for a number of reasons that we'd like the sidewalk to be on Butler.
And
I
that made,
said, I thought it was the planning board's decision, so I said, okay. I mean, if it's our decision, I mean, I don't want to.
I think he's just trying to get everyone's input, to
Right.
make sure everybody's on board.
If I had a comment, Mike and I talked about it online. So, you know where the bus stop is coming down Graham Road West?
Yeah.
There's a little piece of sidewalk that Chipotle's gonna put in that connects to that area. It kind of makes sense. I told Mike, it's gonna be hard for the village to maintain a 30-foot section, less than 30, it's like 15-foot section. So I said, I think Chipotle should be responsible to maintain it. He goes, I agree. I said, unfortunately, we'll have to do some kind of a license agreement saying that, and we'll have to put it in the conditions.
Right.
Mike and I both agree to that, Mike Scott. And I said, personally, I think the sidewalk should be on Butler for two reasons is if something good comes in the northern lot of that block, they'll have access to all our infrastructure by that walk. And they would very much the same way up there, but it just makes sense to me down on Butler. There's a lot less traffic. The more you can keep pedestrians away from traffic, the better off they are. It still gives them permissive crossings, one at the end of Butler and one at Graham Road West and Trip Hammer. By having it go through the driveway on Trip Hammer or on Butler, because their driveway, rather than have them pave a blacktop crossing, it's hard for them to get the 2% minimum cross slope. So I said, just take the sidewalk right from the handicap ramp at Butler and Graham, it would be on the east side of Butler, and just go to their property line. And that's it, until such a time comes where the developed lot is developed on the north side that Eric owns, the one that's vacant. And then that walk would continue to that business. But whatever you have, that was my recommendation to Mike, and I felt he kind of agreed with me. He didn't, but whatever you guys want, we'll make do. But I really do think, looking at the integral sidewalk in Chipotle, there's nothing. That piece of sidewalk almost needs to come out of, if you look at it here, actually, it's nice. If you guys want to look at it, I'll give it to you. But there's nothing inside the development on Chipotle, but that walk to the bus shelter makes the most sense.
Right. Yeah, because
They would need
the building is parking lot, pretty much,
Yeah, pretty much. It's
in green space.
it's pretty well macadam, blacktop.
Yeah.
I mean, by the time you put dumpsters there, a building and blacktop, there's very little green space.
Yeah. So the Butler sidewalk would only extend to the edge of the current property for Chipotle. It wouldn't go down the entire parcel?
No, and that's the thing, either side you do of their parcel will stop at the property lines, because you have no rights to have them construct a sidewalk beyond that.
Gotcha.
It would be out of the realm of have you looked at this?
well,
Okay.
yes.
I mean, so it would really, this is really a poor one. There might be better ones there, but, yeah, so either way you go, that's how we always done it in the past. We go to the property line. It's all we have leverage to do, or conditions of a special permit.
And wasn't there also a big concern about the safety of the trip hammer?
I mean, yeah, definitely, there's,
No, I mean, it's the sidewalk and then the street. I mean, there's no green space between, if it went.
Well, there would be.
Yeah, there would be.
There always is. It's not, the sidewalk's not right on the road. I mean, there's always a,
Well, there was also the issue of the moving the property line.
they would have to, because there's a telephone pole there.
Yeah,
If it's on the east, I'm looking at the plan right now, on the east side, there's a lot of infrastructure there.
I mean,
But
and that's
the
why,
trustees want to overrule the decision of the planning board on this matter. So I don't even know that we need to
I felt like,
out all the reasons.
yeah, I felt like they were good with Butler.
They want, also, I mean, I made a recommendation.
So did I. That's what I-
They want Butler. I don't know that we need to overrule them.
I guess,
I think he just wanted us to talk about it.
yeah, talk about it and agree.
Yes, we're okay with it.
Yeah, like if we want to say, no, we absolutely have to have something on Trip Hammer.
to Jody's point, I mean, basically, everybody had to be on the same page so he could proceed and get it done.
Yeah.
And also, Chris, what did he say with regard to not asking for special favors, but in terms of spelling out the design process and what he needs from the village to go forward with. Then, after the demo, then the engineers come in, and then they make a pretty presentation. So we can know where things, but until they get on site to do the grades and all of that, so.
It sounds like they've done a lot more work, though. McFarland Johnson got involved, and they got a little bit more hard plans with real legitimate elevations.
So I agree. No, they've gone as far as they can, but Chipotle requires that the finals come from them.
If they don't have everything done by August 1st, the demo, I think it's August 1st, from what way Mike explained to me. I think it's August 1st to be ready for, no, it'd be completely done
Yes.
by August 1st. They were gonna lose their year cycle, like you said.
Yeah, like the 15th, he could do
Yeah.
it.
There's also a cycle for getting drawings.
That's right, that's right.
And if, that's the first stage or phase of that, of the Chipotle cycle. So having them get the final engineering drawings. So basically, from today's meeting, we agree with the planning board that the Butler side sidewalk should be done. Is that-
Yes, please.
I didn't hear any difference from you. I mean, I had a preference sort of for the trip hammer, but I was thinking it would be the entire length
Well, it would be eventually.
eventually, but we don't, yeah,
But you can't make Chow do anything.
no.
Because Chow is already, there's no,
And there
unless they
was-
did a remodel, and
Well, there was a grading issue also with Chow.
there's a huge ditch up here. I know they wanted the sidewalk to go up the north side, but there's huge restrictions in this area here. So even if you could get it to this area here, I don't think you could get it up to Crystal's. I know Crystal has sought after it for many years, but that's why we put the crosswalk at the Security Mutual or the Bailey Place and Food Net.
Flip to the other.
Give another option of sidewalk down. We want walkable communities. You might have to walk an extra couple hundred yards to get where you want to go.
But for now, for this, project, either we do something now, or we look at the building for who knows how long.
Yeah.
And so
I agree.
they seem to be 100% in terms of being on target with the process and explaining it to the planning board. And
I think we agree.
I think we
There's an
agree.
Ideal world where it'd be trip hammer, but if the planning board has set forth logical arguments for Butler, then that's fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
So I agree. I mean, there was some back and forth, so we basically decided on the Butler side, and I will, Mike had asked that I text him as soon as I could after this meeting to let him know that decision, and he would communicate it to Chris, and they would get that final stage of the site plan drawing done.
And I have to get him a couple things too, and I forgot to do it yesterday, so I'll get those in, Mike.
Yeah, John, please do, because he's on the short fuse.
I'm hoping this project goes forward. I'm enthusiastic about it.
Okay, and so the other discussion, you received an email from Natalie about the density in the business and technology parks and the health and human services parks, about there was just an oversight that there's no density requirement within.
So to be prepared for this discussion, I reached out both to Cornell Real Estate and to Mike Baker. And we had all kind of been on the same page, and I just wanted to confirm with both of them. We were thinking high-density residential density would be the density as well for business and tech. Most of the properties in business and tech, unfortunately, are going to have a problem with residential, and sewer is not the problem. The problem is proximity to the airport. But if there is one or two properties that could have mixed use or high-density residential, that's what our density thought process was.
It's an unspoken.
And it remains. So if we want to do that, then if we want to make that amendment, Mike Baker was on board with that, and yeah.
So that would be a change to the local law. We would have to have a public hearing and so forth, but we could do that.
You can ask Natalie.
We could do that. Draft up a segment within the business and technology and the HHS sections of our code to have a density requirement that is exactly like the high-density residential. So, and then we could set a public hearing.
I'm sorry, can I ask a quick question though? Would this allow that Transact development to come in?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
They had height restrictions.
Height restrictions, density restrictions, they were 25% over the, or,
Yeah,
yeah, okay.
they were substantially over.
So I was just concerned, because then that's huge, it's gonna put a lot of strain on their side.
Yeah, they could try again, but I think our answer would still be no,
And don't they
unless they make significant changes.
wetlands issue on the.
One on the north side did.
Yeah.
I think they had an issue, Transact.
No,
did.
transit, but the undeveloped piece that they're.
Oh, the one closer to the road?
East side, over by Warren, yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, good. We don't really need a vote for that, but we do need to make a request to Natalie to add that, so that can be done offline.
I have just one question.
Sure.
So the attorneys for that piece of property that we're talking about are communicating. I was confused. Why didn't they come to Mike Scott? Why are the attorneys initially getting involved in starting another
No,
conversation?
we're just looking at, there was an oversight when we were
Oh, all
doing
right.
the usage changes.
Okay,
Mike noticed it,
Okay.
and that's why we need to.
so that's,
And Natalie,
That is why we have.
that's what triggered.
Yes.
According to
Okay.
the email that, oh, okay, yeah, I got it, yeah.
It didn't,
Ah, yeah, whatever.
yeah,
Natalie was providing information for
Yes.
us, but it was triggered by Mike.
okay.
So
I
it's
just wanted
the
to,
same process, it's just slightly different because it's something that we forgot to do with two sites or two zoning areas that we haven't normally dealt with in quite a while. So we're just filling in the missing pieces on that now. The other thing we need to do today is to discuss, did you get and read the emails about the Cayuga Lake boat funds?
yes.
This is, we did it last year too, we have to do it every year. Basically, we pay a certain amount in to the county, I believe, and a portion of that money will go to the Cayuga Lake, which is the boat that is on the lake and doing research and specific measurements related to.
It's paid from our
various things.
annual dues, and there's no extra cost for this.
No extra cost, we actually,
But the educational services are part of the required minimum controls measures that make up the annual MS4 report.
and so basically, we're just authorizing part of our money that we already paid to go to the boat, and all of the participating municipalities have to sign off on it. So I will make a motion that we agree that I can sign this agreement that allows that $700 from our village dues that we paid to go to the Cayuga Lake boat.
Second.
Carolyn seconds. Is there any other discussion?
I'm not sure, it's not your whole amount. It's just by signing this agreement, you're allowing payment from the coalition general fund.
Okay,
And
But-
and it needs to be dated, right?
yes. And but they said that it currently is $7,000, 10 participating municipalities. So each municipality's portion is $700.
And
If
that's,
that ever changes, they would tell us, but it's $700 each. So this is not dated. It's only, I think it's probably dated at the time of the final signature. So I'm not sure how they will do this, if this document will have to move to all the municipalities or they get a copy.
dated and,
It's
So it will all get signed, so this will get signed, and then we'll go to the next municipality. They all have to be signed on one document.
yeah, I hope,
so that's the.
That's what I
issue
think.
sometimes.
And once the last person signed, then it will be.
they'll date
But
the
we have
front
it in
page.
our
We have it in our
resolution.
resolution in our thing. So I moved and we didn't vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, okay. And I'm going to sign this before I forget, because today has been kind of a weird day for me. Okay. Sign. All right. Done. Trying to think if there's anything else. That is everything he had for today. So Jody.
Mike Baker and Lorraine have expressed interest in attending the New York Planning Federation Annual Conference on April 19th through the 21st in Cooperstown. We have allotted money in the budget to send 2 people to the conference. We just need to pass a resolution stating who will go. So the resolution would be to authorize Mike Baker and Lorraine Capagrassi to attend the New York Planning Federation Annual Conference on April 19th through 21st, 2026 in Cooperstown.
I'll move.
Carolyn moves,
Second?
Susan seconds. Any discussion about this?
No, I think that's good.
I understand.
It's perfect.
Okay. All those in favor, say aye.
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 So on August 14th, 2025, we set meal reimbursements for NICOM attendees by using the U.S. General Services Administration. I looked up Cooperstown, and the rates for breakfast are $16, lunch is $19, dinner's $28, and incidentals is $5. This will be for the meals not included in the conference, and the federal mileage rate is currently 0.725. So they'll get paid mileage for driving up there, and I believe they're going together.
Okay.
FYI. Do you want to approve the vouchers?
Any questions about the vouchers?
No.
Didn't have any.
I have no questions.
No questions either. Okay, all of those in favor of passing
Well,
the,
who's moving?
I will move the
Second.
vouchers. Susan
Move it.
seconds. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Okay, anything else?
I think that's it.
Do you have our budget schedule?
Budget schedule, yes. The last Monday of this month, everyone has to have your wish list turned in to me because we will start with the first meeting in March, starting budget. So you will have March first meeting, you'll have the noon meeting, you'll have the second meeting in March, and at that time, we will have to set the public hearing for the beginning of April.
Okay. Last Monday of February, which is, what's the date?
What's it, the 26th?
Can you run the dates by me one more time? The end of this month,
Last Monday. I think it's the 26th.
last Monday of February?
26th, yeah. Because our first meeting is that next Monday, the 2nd. So that gives me a week to throw everything together into the budget.
Okay.
Then, so we'll discuss it then. I mean, obviously, that'll be the first run of looking to see where we are and, what can we include, what we not include. And then we'll have the Thursday staff meeting for any more questions, finagling, and then I'll put everything together again. And then we'll have a budget for that next meeting, and hopefully we'll have that all worked out so that we can have a public hearing the first meeting in April, because our second meeting in April is after the date. We may have a little wiggle worm with our Thursday, but
Thursday in March, you mean?
April.
Thursday in April.
I'm seeing that the last
We have to
Monday
have it done by the 15th.
15th of April.
of April, the last Monday in February is 23rd.
Does it have to be the last Monday, and why can't it be the first Monday in March?
Because that's our meeting. I have to put it into our spreadsheet so you know where you are.
And for those
Are you
who,
concerned because of your Greenway meeting?
Mhm.
Okay, so here's the thing. You give me what you think, and then if you have changes after that meeting, you just give me a call and I can adjust them real quick.
A new number.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, things are gonna change from the second, what we originally put. It's never the same. They're still like, well, we really can't do this, we don't have the money for this, or we have a little extra money, we could do this also. And so, I mean, it's just like finagling at
Okay.
that point.
Right, but you need a starting point.
I need a starting point, yeah. Okay.
Okay. In relation to that, at our Gang of Six meeting this morning, Linda Woodard said that they are estimating a 10 to 12% increase in water/sewer rates. The reason she's doing it now is so that the towns can prepare for it, but it also gives us a heads up. So
10%, she said?
10 to 12. And that's a
I already figured
prior discussion on the Village of Cuyahoga Heights part as to the final number. So that's,
You think it's what now?
So if they're increasing theirs by 10%, so we're time and a half that.
yeah. So
It hit us for almost 20% here a few years.
25% last year.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
We're
like,
financing all their repairs.
well, it's not, that's a big chunk of it, but there's also the costs of sewer treatment are,
Did they bond for the treatment plant upgrade?
I can't tell you that. I don't know.
I was curious to know, because if they didn't bond, that means they had a lot in reserves. If they bonded, I could understand the interest increases and over the years, and, you know, if they had a 10-year bond, I could understand an increase, but if they didn't bond, they're trying to recover their reserves.
Reserves, right, yeah. Okay. So we'll go through, Carol, you're next.
So you guys know I joined Rotary, and they had a presentation from the Downtown Conference Center, where the Downtown Conference Center mentioned that they host nonprofits for $150. And so I asked them, I said, would you extend that rate to municipalities if they wanted to do a retreat? And they were like, yeah, if we weren't otherwise booked that day, yes. So I just wanted to put that out there. If we were looking for a location for our retreat, the Downtown Conference Center would be available for a relatively reasonable rate.
About
So
150.
Lorraine, if you're listening, $150, which I think is a pretty reasonable rate for the Downtown Conference Center.
Okay.
The Commercial Area Advisory Committee, going forward with collecting participants. We've had some luck finding some business participants who are interested. One resident has expressed interest. Obviously, we want as many applicants as possible, and it's going to be open till, April. So I think that we should maybe make some direct asks for some businesses we think would be ideal candidates, and same with residents. Residents would be ideal candidates. I think. Oh, the meeting for, you guys know I'm super excited about, what is it called again?
Community choice.
Community choice aggregation, thank you. So I do want to attend the meeting on Wednesday. I signed up for it. I'm also on for the town board meeting, so I didn't know if somebody else could cover the town board meeting.
I just signed up for both of them. The community choice, and
Yeah, I did. too.
I did that.
I think that-
Oh, okay, then I'll just watch the video of the town board meeting.
yeah.
I think it's nice when somebody attends, but that's okay.
Yeah.
And we had a trails meeting this morning, and, nothing in particular happened that I need to report back to you, but we are gonna start, I'm gonna meet with, their hired, engineering firm to talk about, paths to the village, which we had kind of put on the back burner for about 2 years, because it seemed like it was a low priority, but at today's meeting, everyone's like, no, that's the highest priority. So now we're gonna start talking about that more. And in that regard, we are gonna have to reach out sooner rather than later to, I think it's Mr. Horowitz who owns Sundown Farms, and ask his, I don't know, I think I've asked you before if you have not really had any interactions with him.
I have very rare interactions.
So, well, I'm gonna ask you sooner rather than later if we can reach
I
out
have
with
pretty
him.
good contacts with them.
Oh, you do? Okay. So I do want to just at least touch base, because they're just unknown questions, like, is skirting your property an option or not? Like, if it's not, we should know that sooner rather than later.
Do we have any kind of proposed plans?
So we have 3 proposed plans, and I'm gonna meet with this guy, his named Josiah from MJ, to show him that. He'll draw it out a little bit neater than Mike Scott and I did, and then we'll talk, reach out to Mr. Horowitz.
Yeah. When you get those, then we can, it's a better way, because we.
Is he charging the village?
The village, no. He has a grant, he's being paid by a grant from
Oh, good. I was just curious.
The town got, yeah.
As long as they let him use all the drawings he can get out of them,
Yeah.
Thank you, Carolyn. When you get those drawings, send them to us, and
I'll get you connected up. I think you would be okay to meet with him.
Okay, great.
but yeah, if he has concerns, or you can say, well, it's a village thing, and you can call Mayor Hardaway, and, because he's called me for a couple of times for things that he wants.
It's Peter's his counsel.
Okay,
Oh, yeah,
We kind of got to bust through that first.
good.
yeah. Okay,
Are you gonna bring up the moratorium?
yeah,
Okay,
Good.
all right, that's it then.
okay. Susan?
Nothing from me. Planning board, which was, it was a good meeting, the planning board. I don't have anything else.
Thank you, Susan. Yeah, I was going to attend the planning board, but it turned out that I couldn't go to it, so I'll have to watch that one. Okay, so Patrick and Kathleen are absent, then I have some topics to cover today. Well, the first one we'll go through is the moratorium, the information that Natalie sent us about the moratorium. Okay.
Natalie sent us her interpretation of what uses a data center could fall under in our code book. But the issue is that in Lansing, for example, the owners of the data center, or the potential owners, came forward and said, we think we fit in the following categories: scientific research laboratory, general processing facility, or warehouse. And that question was not decided by a person just logically reading the code. It was decided by the ZBA, which would be similar here. So we don't want a situation where we look at our code, you and I, and say, yeah, this is not a scientific research laboratory. We want it to be, our code to say something such that there's no reasonable interpretation that could be made by a ZBA of people who are not currently on the ZBA, just some random people, have no room to interpret it in such a way that it was not how we intended. In which case, I would recommend that we edit our code to specifically define those terms, because we're doing definitions of terms right now. Say, a warehouse does not include warehousing of computer data.
Right.
A general processing facility does not include processing of electronic so-and-so. Scientific research laboratory does not include, and I think that is the best way to go, is to be very clear in our code of uses that it doesn't fit into those categories or any of our other categories. So we need to do a category review and clarify definitions, as opposed to wait until somebody proposes a facility and then have it interpreted by, like, for example, people who maybe aren't in the village right now, but might be in the future.
Right, might be in the future.
You're saying that the ZBA can override?
This is what happened in the town.
That's,
No, I'm saying, is that like a law? Can't you just say the ZBA makes a recommendation back to the planning board? That they override or they don't
They
override?
interpreted the code.
yes.
Because I've seen the ZBA do some funky stuff here. And not saying it was bad stuff, but like permit like secondary driveways and stuff like that we really had no say in. Like, I
That's-
made a recommendation.
The ultimate decision was not, like, I'm reading Natalie's email, and she says, I don't really think this falls into any of these categories. And I'm like, that's all well and good, but when the ultimate arbiter wants it to fit in a category, they can.
A variance
So
of a sort.
that's what happened. I watched that whole BZA meeting at the town of Lansing, and back and forth. They shifted the blame. I mean, that was heated. Everybody had opinions. So the BZA did have the power to interpret.
They found that it was a general processing facility.
Yeah, exactly.
I just have a hard time believing that's, the BZA only meets once every 2 or 3 years here. Could overpower the planning board.
But that's what happened.
Well,
It's really kind of giving somebody that don't have much say in everyday, day-to-day operations, a lot of say. It's probably a state law that they require BZA for appeals.
Yeah.
I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
The my concerns with this, it's, as I said, when I kind of kicked this off, is technology right now. Data process, the data center technology or cryptocurrency technology is of specific size and power use. Technology is changing so rapidly that someone could find a way, they could microcircuitry, they could do the same thing, probably about the same power, but it would fit in a much smaller building that could have a captured closed circuit cooling system. And how do we want to address if someone comes in and says, we want to purchase the building X in the Business and Technology Park, use it for a data center. We don't need a lake source cooling effect because we have a closed circuit cooling system. Okay, you can, but what are you using within that cooling system? How much power are you going to be taking from the grid? And what is that impact to our residents? Anyone who's a consumer of the electricity off the grid.
AES still own that building out there?
I'm sorry?
Does AES still own that building out there? ISAG or,
The building on Bridge Road.
I mean, they got shut down by the
Oh.
state, basically, right? I mean, they're paying taxes on that building to lay idle. That's gotta hurt.
The thing is, I think we need to prepare for a moratorium and not trigger it until we feel that there's going to be a request. But it doesn't mean that the moratorium would give us approximately a year to get our definitions in place or our code changes in place to decide what we would allow or what we would not allow as a data center or a cryptocurrency manufacturer. The technology may not be here for 5 years, but who knows?
I think we should just edit our uses. The moratorium is so brief.
Yes, I know, but how do you define the uses in a way that can capture all of the possibilities?
Yeah,
The possibilities of technology, what's happening at this point in time is that AI technology is being used to engineer and actually starting to manufacture new technology. Their cycles are light years ahead of mental ability or a human's ability to engineer and manufacture.
That's what I'm saying, they're using AI to break the code, aren't they? They ought to use AI to strengthen the code.
Yes, but AI is like any other tool. It will be used for the purpose that is most beneficial and profitable by whomever wants to use it. So if we define terminology and restrictions now, would we be able to anticipate the technology that's to come? That's my concern. Carolyn, we could start that process, that's fine. But my concern is if we don't capture everything, it's not going to take much of a crack in the door for someone to slip through. So we just got to be careful. And there are all sorts of things, like we could restrict the amount of consumption by a facility to certain megawatts, terawatts, or petawatts, that it could never exceed that by square footage or by building size. I mean, there are all sorts.
We have a lot of restrictions in water consumption though. Even though they have a closed loop system, they still have to have a supply there.
Maybe.
Maybe you're right, maybe. I'm just saying, you have a lot of power, water and sewer.
Yeah, you do. At this point, we do have, we definitely want to prevent excessive water use, sewer use. But if someone comes up with a cooling agent that has a 100-year life cycle, and it can circulate for 100 years, that's fine. But at some point, they're going to have to replace it, replenish it, whatever. How do we want to treat that? And how do we want to treat the power consumption? My concern, and it's things that I'm hearing in other discussions, is that the data centers are going to be consuming so much energy off of our grid will fail. And that means every person in our state, our county, our village could be impacted by the costs or even the lack of availability of electricity.
Right. I was reading an article that was sent out, a board did a resolution over in Cortland County about requiring the Public Service Commission to investigate the rate increases at the power companies.
Yeah.
And they're trying to get every municipality to go on board with it, because my electric bill increased, I mean, substantially. And it's crazy.
Supply and demand.
Yes, and
That's right. So if you have less, you have more demand and less supply,
Then something.
it goes up to deter more demand.
yes, yes. The other problem with all of this is that the data centers negotiate a contract with NYSEG, so they pay a substantially lower rate per kilowatt hour than we do. That's beyond our control at this point. So our control is within our code. We need to deal with this. It's not necessarily data centers or cryptocurrency. It's any facility that will be using so much power that it drains the grid. So we're focusing on data centers and cryptocurrency centers or processing centers.
What's that mean?
It's another technology.
Battery storage, does that have any effect?
Battery storage is a totally different issue, but yeah, it's very similar. But if you allow energy storage systems, then you have the possibility of fires, uncontrollable fires. What do you do? And a battery energy storage system at this point could not support a data center. They would have to have a whole nother building with nothing but batteries. And if you get one battery that starts on fire within a conglomerate of battery storage systems, it spreads. And where does it stop? So there are a lot of things we need to take into consideration, is what I'm saying. We need to start it, absolutely, but we've got to be forward thinking in the limitations of uses and a potential energy use and contamination from cooling systems and things like that. So what you said is right.
So what do you want to do?
I think we should go forward. We should start that process. There are some examples of code that deals with data centers. We could start there and say, well, that's good, but we want to expand this part. And we just need to tailor it to what we want. So we should go forward. The moratorium is something totally different. If we are in the process of defining this new code, and we have not finished it, and someone comes in and it looks like they're going to request or submit an application to build one of these, do we want to trigger a moratorium, and for how long? We have to follow the guidelines that
No,
matter.
moratoriums are very short. So
have to be-
we should put one in right now because
But,
they're very short.
but if we
Start the code process. We should start the code updating as of today.
If we start a moratorium now and it's 1 year, what if we need a year and a half or 2 years? And no one's made an application. What I'm saying is we get ready for a moratorium. If the application's coming, trigger the moratorium, and that gives us more time.
Okay. Yes. Agreed.
There's really no point in starting a moratorium now when we have no applications that we're aware of. But be aware that they could come. They could
It
come.
will come.
It's very possible it will come. The things that Natalie sent us, I read through the state's report on the use and creation of moratoriums. It was very informational, but yeah, we have to have, it has to,
But let's start our code update.
Yes.
exactly right. We're going to kind of start both in parallel and have the moratorium. Moratorium's going to take less time probably than the code update. Have the wording ready to pull the trigger on the moratorium when we need it.
So we
That's my
can,
recommendation.
we can have Natalie craft.
Help us craft a moratorium and
Language.
start working on code updates. And I have done basic research. I can send you what I've got, and then we could start thinking about it and get the planning board involved too. So, anyway. But it's,
I mean, we may never need it.
we may never, yeah.
However, because of what I saw go on in Lansing during that 2-week period, back and forth and back and forth, and it wasn't pretty.
No.
And it created diversity, but it also created an opportunity for us to find a way to stay in a neutral position
Mhm.
and protect our water, sewer, all the above, and our relationship with our constituents too. We'd rather be worried about trails, simple things, walkability, but that's not reality. I mean, this will happen. Look at Cornell Business Park. Who knows?
We still know. There's no way of predicting. I couldn't have predicted 20 years ago what our technology was today. I don't think I could have even done it 5 years ago. So anyway, so yeah, let's start moratorium wording and just hold off enacting it and start on the code updates too.
And tell Natalie that the way that the code enactments, the code changes should be worded is very specific, because a natural interpretation of this was not what happened in Lansing.
Right.
So you have to be extremely specific about what is and is not included
We
in.
need an attorney's mind to let us
Right.
figure. Yes, yes. Because most of us, you might be closer to that, and I know that Trevor would be. I don't think that detailed. Okay, so, let's see, what else have I got here? Intermunicipal wastewater transportation and treatment agreement. We had a meeting on February 3rd with representatives from the town of Lansing, Village of Cuyahoga Heights, and our village. We had listed specific topics to be covered. One was that the flow meter, the town wanted to use sewer flow meters for billing rather than water meters. We convinced them that it should be water meters because they are much more accurate than flow meters. The flow meter technology right now is iffy. So that was good. They were going to, they had requested that the sewer unit counts be removed from our agreement and just use a flow rate, but we pushed back that we wanted to keep the sewer units in there because there are ways of getting around the capacity that would come from the town. And everyone in the room agreed to keep the sewer units in there.
In conjunction with this flow rates.
Yes, yeah.
They run together.
Yeah, they run together. But nothing was being removed. There was some discussion about adjusting the unit counts. So from the 3 sewer districts within the town. So Dave Herrick is putting together the sewer unit projections to see if we need to negotiate new sewer units for the town primarily, but it might also roll down and give us some extras.
Yeah, right now they're out of sewer units in both of those 2 districts.
Two of the 3 districts that are existing. The sewer district 1, which is their newest sewer district, has nothing. So there's nothing to compare to, but we've got that number locked in right now. And so at some point within this first quarter, there's going to be a meeting from the information that Dave Herrick puts together between the town, us, and Village of Cuyahoga Heights to discuss the sewer unit investments. John had brought up the new sewer interceptor on Cedar Lane, or basically the upsizing, right, John? It's not new, it's upsizing.
Right.
And so he just warned people that was going to be happening. And the town of Lansing did agree to allow John and Brent Cross, or whoever our village engineers are, to review development plans early in the stage for the sewer line designs.
Excellent, good win.
And it sounded like they would listen to our considerations as well.
Very nice.
And there were a couple of other topics. Those were our primary topics, and a couple of other topics. Supervisor Ruth Groff brought up that the village and our sewer billing changes outside of the town of Lansing, and she wanted to see if it could be changed. From the Gang of Six meeting today, Linda said they could not do that. They would not do that.
Is that what they said? Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what she said. But to help everyone prepare their budgets, we predict that we're going to have a 10 to 12% increase, like I've already communicated. So that's when that came out. And Guy Crow mentioned that he thought that much like the state elections, the towns, cities, and the villages' budget cycles, the state might require that the budget cycles all be the same. So villages probably would have to start working with the same cycle as the towns and cities. There's nothing happening in that direction, but he suspects it's going to happen.
You know why they do it different? Because OSC is dealing with it, so you're gonna have a bunch to deal with at one time, or
Divide it
you
up.
deal.
Yeah, yeah.
It makes total sense, how it's helping the state spread out their work.
Sure.
Why would you put it all at once?
So if you remember a couple months ago, when I was reporting about the agreement, I mentioned about falling on their sequence of budget year when we do an increase, because we did it in the middle of June. Well, that's their off season, and that's what Ruth is saying, like, it's different when you get revenue in the middle of the season. That's one thing, you can do some budget modifications for that. But when you have a huge expenditure, an increase in the middle of the season. But they do have 90 days or 6 months in the agreement before the increase comes to effect. So that should give them plenty of time to notify their customers of an increase. I did go back and read that after we talked about it.
Yeah, the town was requesting it, but it's not going to happen at this point. But the state may come down at some point and tell us that we have to change our budget cycles. But I think that if that happens, it will be not an immediate effect, but probably a phased-in effect. Or you'll have a certain period of years to implement it. So, but I just wanted to give everyone a warning that could happen down the road.
It was a very productive meeting.
Yeah, it was a good meeting. It was
Good to see some continuity.
Yeah, and movement. One other question I had for today was, the community party is looking to rent our community hall, our community room on 2 Saturdays. I think, let's see, it's the,
They already did.
okay. And you mentioned that they had to come up with the insurance, right? Do we require that of
We
everyone?
haven't, yes, it's required of everyone unless we want to waive it.
Okay. So are we going to have to, every time someone wants to rent that room, waive the insurance by resolution or by decision?
You would have to.
We haven't done that in the past, have we? Okay, so from now on, whenever, I don't think people that are renting the room have been, bridge clubs and so forth.
Yeah, it just comes off your insurance. You just call them up and say you want it. It doesn't cost anything else.
It's an extension?
Yeah.
But for a private person,
Yeah, Larry Bieri rented the room.
yeah.
All he has to do is call his insurance and listen.
Do we want to require that of people?
Are you gonna, what if somebody comes in there and sets it on fire?
Then I think that a lawsuit would probably take care of that. But it's just, to me, it would prevent people from wanting to use the ramp.
It hasn't prevented anybody yet.
Who does the insurance for the bridge club?
It's through Cornell. Basically, most of our people that run it are part of the Cornell Club, and they're different clubs, Bridge Club, Quilting Club,
We're gutter ramp.
Book Club, Gourmet Club, different clubs like that. And they're all through them. One person found out about our cheap rent, and then.
Yeah.
Is it still cheap?
$25 a day.
That doesn't even pay for the heat.
I thought,
It doesn't.
didn't we raise it to
It
50?
used to be 10.
I thought we raised it to 50.
25.
Now
It
it's
doesn't
had to
cover
be
the
like.
heat or the air conditioning.
Great. Did we have a discussion that it had to be prevailing
Went
rate?
to 25.
Okay,
That's all, no, I don't think we had a
Doesn't even pay
prevailing.
for the heat, like you said.
okay.
For
We
the air
should
conditioning.
probably raise it.
They do have to put a $50 deposit down.
Yep.
That's really not anything. So,
Some places used to do, you used to have a right to buy into their insurance and name them additional insured or something. And it was like an extra
If
50
you have
bucks.
homeowner insurance, no, if you have homeowner's insurance, you call them up, you ask them for it, and they'll send one over. It's nothing.
But a lot of people, they're meeting as a group, like Larry Bier used his homeowner's insurance.
They do the same thing with the Lansing Fire Hall.
Uh,
You have to just, all you do is call your insurance and they.
Never heard of such a thing.
anything either. Anyway, I am going to propose that we not require insurance from the community party for their 2 Saturdays that they rent the room. This is like the 4th year they've done these walk-in petition signature events. There's just people walking in, signing paper and leaving. So I'm going to ask that we not require comprehensive insurance on them. Comprehensive liability insurance. Is that okay with everyone?
Yeah, as long as it doesn't put the Village of Lansing in
I
jeopardy.
think this should be a Natalie question.
I think so. We don't want to be caught in
Okay.
some,
Jody, would you contact Natalie and ask if that was required and what's the best, most efficient way to get it done for people who are private individuals or small groups and small nonprofits who probably don't have insurance?
Like I
As a
said, my
group.
daughter just did it. She rented the fire hall for a birthday party. Same type thing. I called the insurance. They sent over it's not that big a deal.
And how much did it cost?
Nothing.
Okay. If it costs nothing, and it's no big deal, but that's.
we just need to be sure.
Yeah, I just don't want to impose anything on people that would prevent them from using the community hall. Okay, so I think that covers all the topics that I had. Anything else?
That tree is not that pretty, is it?
No. Well, none of them are anywhere. It looks sad.
That one is, I mean, I bring that to Carolyn's attention.
We can adjourn. Anyone who would like to move, we adjourn.
I will.
Susan, I'll second. All those in favor, say aye.
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 I mean, look at.
Thank you.
Take you up,
Look at.
discussion for the upcode.
Yeah, I realize it, but the leaves still on that tree and it's kind of highlights
Actually.
on, it's